Welcome, my dear viewer, to Dr. Paul Kebicho YouTube channel. And people have really been asking quite a number of questions. And I thought it was good for me to come and, of course, maybe answer majority of them. And before I do that, I want to thank the people of Nakuru, Dr. Ada PCA Church, led by their reverend, and, of course, the elders, for the time they gave me yesterday in their congregation. I want also to thank the members of congregation for the support that they gave, for the support and cooperation that I got from them yesterday. It never went unnoticed, and I normally like giving compliments where they're due. Today I spent a busy day, and I came across quite a number of people who raised some pertinent questions, and I thought, because that is my business of doing what we call research, I should come and share with you a few things. And our discussion today is what we call, what do rich people do? Of course, the term rich, I will first of all make you understand that the term rich, or the terminology rich, is relative. We have somebody who has got 2 acres of land, and to him, that is his richness. We have somebody with 1,000 acres. We have others with 15,000 acres. We have others with what we call shoppers. We have others with what we call private jets. We have others who have got what we call the space shuttle. All those kinds of riches are defined based on what one terms richness to be. But I want us to look at a modest person who can be called rich. A modest person, in my definition, is somebody who does not rent a house, is somebody who takes his children to school without going for a loan, is somebody who is capable of sustaining himself or herself without necessarily being a bother to his or her children or family members. That's the kind of a person I want us to discuss today. And we need to ask ourselves, what is it that these people do? What is it that they have done that has made them to be rich? So I want first of all to remind you, I'm going to give you about maybe 10 points, 10 good points. And if I wish you can be able to follow those 10 points, you can also one day give a testimony of being a very rich person, which is our desire. Number one, what rich people do that most of us people don't do, they don't waste money to impress others. Rich people, it is not in their business to impress others. In fact, for information, those people who impress others, they have financial strategies. You'll be surprised that the richest man in the world, Mr. Warren Buffett, he still drives the Mercedes-Benz he bought in the year 1979. You'll be surprised to know that Mr. Warren Buffett, having been declared the richest man by Alexander Forbes listing for more than 10 years in a row, he still lives in the same house that he bought many, many years ago, over 35, 45 years ago. But in our case here, the moment you start getting a few coins, the moment your account hits a few millions, the first thing that you think of is now showing off or showbiz. You're going and buying Rexas. You go, of course, you have to shout that you have gotten money. Rich people don't do that. And I have told you that they don't waste money to impress others. They are not in a race. They are not in a competition. That is one characteristic of a rich man. They are not in a competition. So we must appreciate that. They are not in a race. They are not in a race. And sorry. And one thing that they have done is that they have recommended that we read the book which is called, which I have personally read, it is in my shelves, The Millionaire Next Door. The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley and Mr. William will help you understand how rich men and women spend their time and their money. And like us people who just feel like when we get some little money, we are out there, we have to make noise and people must know. And the most unfortunate thing is that majority of those people who are in business of showbiz, when their riches go down, they end up committing suicide, or they end up actually suffering from what we call mental problems. It's important to run from those rich men and women. But one thing that rich people do is that they don't show off. They have no time to show off. So they don't do things to impress people. So you can read that book by Thomas Stanley and Mr. William Danko. Number two, rich people, they have a lot of liquidity. They have plenty of liquidity. And why do you require liquidity? And I've been talking about cash flow. And I know I'll recommend maybe as we go on, the need to read this book by Robert Kiyosaki. When we talk about that, the position they have plenty of liquidity, we are saying rich people, they have sufficient liquidity or cash to cover short-term needs. Most of us, when something good comes our way, what do? We rush to the bank to borrow. We rush to our circles to borrow. So meaning that we are not liquid. As a matter of fact, and I gave you this particular finding that was done in Kenya in the month of March this year, a quarter of Kenyans, a whopping 12.5 million Kenyans, can survive on 1 month savings. It's a very, very pathetic position one to be. So I'm urging you that you must, these rich men and women, what do? They maintain what we call an emergency fund so that they don't have to disrupt their life for unexpected occurrence. And I have recommended that we normally recommend us as financial consultants or financial coaches. It is normally recommended that you must have a minimum of 6 times your gross salary. So if you earn 100,000, we recommend that you should be having 600,000 shillings near cash that you can be able to access at the most convenient time. And if that is difficult for you, we also recommend that you have what we call a medical insurance cover. Because in case of an emergency, if you require money, nowadays we have got so many funds drive. So the question is, as much as we talk about social capital, the social capital account has been exhausted. We have had so many incidences because of COVID-19. Many families have been hit by COVID-19. If you check your phone, unless you are so unsocial, like my phone has got more than 19 social platforms of raising funds. So it is becoming increasingly difficult because of the economy to be able to help everybody that like was the case before. So as much as we talk about social capital, we must appreciate that the people's incomes have been really stretched to the limit. So one of the things that rich people do, and we are talking about what people rich do to be where they are, is they have an emergency fund. And I have told you that we normally recommend that you must have at least 6 times your gross pay. So if you earn 100,000 shillings per month, we recommend you should have 600,000 shillings. Number two, if you can't be able to get that kind of money, the premium you require to have an insurance, a medical insurance cover. And the medical insurance covers are not very, very expensive. You take what we call an inpatient cover of about 1 million or 2 million, and an outpatient cover of 100,000 shillings. That would suffice. If you have money, why don't you go for 5 million inpatient cover and 100,000 shillings outpatient cover? Because you never know what tomorrow has for you. Very, very important. So rich people, what they do, they have plenty of liquidity. One, they have created an emergency fund. Number two, they maintain they have what we call near cash, sufficient money that in the event of anything, they do not disrupt their plans. Some of us people, maybe you're building a house, something happens to you. What do? You stop all the plans that you had because you had no prior arrangements in life. It is important. If you drive a car, you'd be classified as a foolish people to drive a car with a third-party insurance cover. How do you take a loan of 1.5 million shillings? Then you buy a third-party insurance so that you can be able to convince the government of the day that your car has got what we call the mandatory insurance. That is not right. If you have a house, you require to have what we call fire insurance. You require a burglary insurance. You require what we call domestic package insurance, so that in case your house is broken into, the insurance company will come and compensate you. You require a personal accident cover. Anything can happen. But most of us people, we are so ignorant that we ignore those kind of aspects. Number three, rich people, they avoid costs. They avoid fees at all costs. They don't like using what we call the credit card that majority of you people use. They use what we call the debit card. And I have told you the difference between a credit card and a debit card is that a debit card, you spend the money that you have in your account. But a credit card, you are spending money in advance, which is not yours. You are being loaned. And when you're being loaned, sometimes people don't see as if they will pay that particular money that you've been led at. So it's very, very important that you use what we call. So we are saying, in terms of those rich men and women that you see, they avoid fees at all costs. And what do I mean by fees? F-E-E-S. They avoid paying what we call interest on credit cards. Therefore, they use what we call the debit cards, because debit cards, you spend the money that you already have in your account. That makes the difference. They do not use what we call their debit cards outside the Republic of Kenya, because if you spend money outside the Republic of Kenya, it's what we call a foreign transaction fee from using a debit card abroad. They avoid. Rich people avoid. Even a coin. I'm telling you, I have seen a rich man waiting for 10 shillings change. But we poor people, we need 50 shillings. Poor people are the best pretenders the world has ever produced, because you have got 5,000 or 10,000. When you go even shopping, you become so over generous. And remember, rich people don't do that because it takes them time to generate that particular income. So we are saying that they don't even take overdrafts on their current accounts. They don't, because an overdraft means you paying a lot of money in terms of interest that gets accrued to that particular facility that you have been given. They avoid what we call all fees. They avoid all fees possible. So I wish you can be able to learn that also, because most of us people without money, we behave badly. Now, you see, they know what you are paying in for. In terms of the investments, how much are you being charged for this particular investment that you're entering into? What are the initial costs? What is the entry fee? What is what we call the redemption fee? They look at those small things that most of us people ignore. And I've told you in the past that if you ignore a very small hole, you ignore a very, very small hole in a shape, that shape will sink. So we normally say, take care of the small things, for the big things will take care of themselves. Very, very important. Now, rich people, they have what we call asset rotation. They say that asset rotation is as important as asset allocation. You see, asset location is as important as asset allocation. So what does that one mean? That asset location, where is the asset located at? In the event one needed something, how fast can it attract people who have the desire of that particular asset? So you see, as they allocate their resources in terms of assets, they look at the location where they're putting their resources. And we say rich people have the right mix of investments rather than putting their money in just one asset. So you'll never see rich people actually putting all their money, all their eggs in one particular basket. They diversify. And what is the purpose of diversification? Because you may not necessarily know what that particular investment you have engaged yourself in will happen. So nobody has certainty about tomorrow. We are all uncertain what tomorrow holds for us. It is not perfume that one then requires to ensure that you spread your risk. It's called what we call risk management. Spread your risk. That's what rich people do. So they have diversified investments. If you look at the late Jaga Karume, he was actually in what we call farming big time. If you go to Shianda, he had so many acres of coffee plantation. He had tea in his farm. Number three, he had hotels. He had lunches. He had horses. He had so many diversified portfolio of investments. The same case we need to do. And that's what I admire. I actually advise people. Do not just put in your shamba 10 acres of land maize alone. Put yams, put cassava, put some beans, put some potatoes, and so that in the event one plant fails, you can always have a fallback plan. What else do rich people do? Rich people, what they do, they choose the right retirement savings account. Majority of you, thank you so much, Madam Rose Mother. Thank you very much, Mr. Richard Madu, Moses Kemama, and James Karaoke. I appreciate all of you, especially those watching me and dropping what we call some text on my wall. So they're saying, rich people, they know where to put the investment in. Most of us people, we have got no retirement plan at all. We say that God will take care of us. There's nothing that irritates God in heaven to see somebody endowed with brains arguing from a scarcity point of view. You must ask yourself what they said that you require to do when you retire. If today, when you have the energy and the time, you're not comfortable, you're not leading life the way you'd like to lead it, then what makes you think that life will be so comfortable when you retire? Unless you're suffering from what I normally call mental psychosis. Because surely, and I've been telling people, you know where you'll go. In case God called you home today, you know where you belong. You know the kind of sins you've been committing. And you know what, of course, God tells us about committing sins. So you know either you belong to heaven or hell. You know where you belong in terms of retirement. If you have been consuming all the money that you make and assuming that God will take care of you, you're completely mistaken. Now, something else that they do, number 7, is that they hire advisors. I'll tell you for free that in my 29 years career, very few Kenyans, very few, because not majority, have come into my office to seek what we call financial uh, counseling. That's why we go haywire in terms of our finances. Because you assume you know. We exist. Like when I go to a medical doctor, I listen to him keenly because that is his area of expertise. So when you come to me because I'm a trained person in matters finances, I'll be able to help you and give you the best available options. Not necessarily skilled advice. Skilled in the sense that I've got some attachments to some organizations. I am personally attached to those organizations like Standard Investment Bank, like Britam, because I have done due diligence on your behalf. So they hire advisors and they associate themselves with knowledgeable people on tax matters, legal matters, and financial matters. How many of you do that? You have the answer at your fingertips. Something else they appreciate. Rich people, they appreciate that salary is not the whole story. Yes, salary is not salary. The employer only pays you just enough to make you survive that particular month. That's what they only give you, just enough to make you survive. So what rich people do, they make sure that money works for them. Passive investment is their mainstay. So they have ensured that in every situation, they have been able to put quite a number, some money aside, so that when they grow old, when their energy levels goes down, they have what we call passive income. Passive income means they have money, money will be working for them. Do you have something that will be working for you when you stop working? Then another thing that rich people do, they put everything in lighting. They don't just do things verbally that like we do. They put everything in lighting. The difference between having an idea and putting it on paper is often what separates those who succeed and those who fail. When you commit yourself in ink and paper, it becomes very, very easy for you to continue to follow from the route because you already have a point of reference. How many of you have written down your goals? Personally, I have written down my goals. They are as clear, they are as crystal clear as what you can imagine. So it's very, one thing that rich people do is that they have what we call, they have put everything in writing. And Thomas Corey, author of Rich Habits, the daily success habits of wealthy individuals, says that those people, 95% of those people who write down their goals, they achieve them. They have what we call what to do list. They know what to do every day. Some of us, we are so confused unless you are employed somewhere where you report daily anyway, which has become a daily routine. If you're a freelance like me, every morning I must have a schedule. Like now I know where I'll be tomorrow, God willing. Tomorrow I know where I'll be between this time to this time. I know I'll be on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Some of us, we are rudderless. We are planless. We have no compass in our lives. Actually, we allow Mother Nature to control us the way it deems fit for us. That's a perfect example of a failure. So rich people, what do? They understand value over cost. Note that they understand value over cost. Value over cost. What do I mean by that? For them, they have already lawyer. They have what they call he has an attorney, somebody he can call at any hour. There's somebody who can represent him on matters legal. How many of you have a lawyer? And of course, opening for a file for a lawyer is not that much, but because Kenyans they feel pain when paying for the service. That is why we have got so many problems hitting us left, right, and center. Why? Because we've not been able to establish what we call various departments that can sort our problems when that hour arises. Some of us don't have. So for these rich people, they have what we call, they have an attorney. They have an accountant who ensures that their returns are returned on time. Remember, we said that rich people avoid paying fees. So they do not want to be penalized by Kenya Revenue Authority. So they ensure that every time when these submissions are required to be done, it is done by the accountant. They hire and they pay. They have an advisor. When they're starting a business, they consult a business consultant. How many of you consult business consultants? You just go starting a business. You have no idea what that business entails. You have no idea when you even have what we call, you have no idea of what we refer to as, you can't be able even to project. You don't even have a trajectory. You can't even be able to extrapolate. You do not even know what's a break-even point, what is required to be done, what is the human capital you require, how much do you require to put in case you have a lump sum amount of money. We don't do that. So they eat out less. They don't eat their money out there. They eat out less. And one thing that they also do is that they are their own boss. They are their own boss. Very, very important. They are their own boss. Something else that they do is that they use what we call, what I have told you on many occasions, they use what we call OPM. OPM means operating on other people's money. So operating on other people's money means it takes money to make money. So when you go and deposit your 50,000 shillings in the bank, and because you have what we call the law of large numbers, they borrow the money that you have put into your account, which is not earning you any money anyway, because I have told you in the past with a lot of humility, only people who don't have a lot of money put their money in the bank account. Rich people, there is no rich man. Even I believe if you got a chance to interview our late business magnate mogul, Chris Kirumbi, you could have realized that he had no money in the account. Because what do? They get that money, they borrow, they undertake projects that pays on their behalf, and then finally, once they clear their own, the properties become part of their assets. So rich people, they always do what we call net worth analysis. What is net worth analysis? Net worth analysis means you need to know what is the value of your assets and how much do you owe in terms of liabilities. So you should always be keeping an eye on your assets. So what is your net worth? How much are you worth at any given time? So some of us, we have no valuation. We do not even know what we have, what we owe. We don't, because we don't seek counsel. So rich people, they have what we call a net worth record at any given time. They have an investment strategy. They don't just invest in Kenyaji manner. And rich people, they don't fall in love with any investment. You may see a very rich person selling a building in the middle of Nairobi town, CBD, Central Business District, and you end up wondering, sure, can I sell this kind of a building in a lobby? Who told you? I personally, I also sell everything on the way. I remember I sold my Mercedes Benz KBE 865 compressor C40 on the road, and I took an Uber to my house. And that car, the proceeds of that car has literally come in handy. During COVID time, that is the money that has saved me and my family. So rich people, they don't fall in love with the investment. No. And they keep changing their thinking. They don't think like we do. They are always, they are always on the edge. They keep changing things. Then they invest in themselves. They invest money in themselves. They invest time, they invest money, they invest even energy to improve themselves. They don't pay goods on with credit cards, and they pursue. Do you possess those? So much for today. I tend to think that I've given you a few tips, and it's my hope that those tips that have been given you will help you. And I want to salute, without again mentioning those people. I posted something on education policy. I want to thank some individuals, and the gentleman whom I know is watching me from industrial area who happens to work with Kenya Police Service. I salute you. Thank you for calling me. I thank God for you. And thank you for taking education schemes for your children. I have been telling people, and they think that I'm proud. You'll never invite me for education, for a funds drive for your children's education, and I come. I will not be party to that. Label me proud. That is your problem. But you need to plan. We also plan for our children's education. If you have a child there that you have not taken an education policy for, you need to call me. I have given you my number in the past, and I'm going to repeat my number. Are you there and you have got no pension scheme? You need to talk to me. Are you there? You have a car. You have a car that you drive with a third party. It is either you sell that car or you invite me to come and give you a comprehensive insurance cover for that. Do you have a house with household goods? You require to have a domestic package insurance for that house of yours. Do you walk along? Do you drive along our Kenyan roads? Do you walk in those buildings that are collapsing every day in Kenya? You require to have a personal accident cover because anything can happen. Please feel free to talk to me. Even we have what we call the VARIG, the last expense policy, because people are dying. And of course, taking a policy for burial is not a crime. For funeral is not a crime. I lost my father. I lost my mother. I lost my grandmother. I lost my parents-in-law. What haven't we seen? And I have told you that you may be thinking that you are counting on what we call social capital, but I have told you that the funds in social capital have been overstretched. So you need to be wise. And with those few remarks, kindly call me on 0722. I'm now giving you my number, not the secretary's number. Matters insurance, matters investment. Call me directly on 0722 633 021. 0722 633 021. We'll be able to share a lot with you people. So thank you so much, Robert Mothe. Thank you. God bless you. Agnes Moshai, thank you so much. Richard Madhu, thank you so much. Moses Kimama, Kenya, from Nakuru Rift Valley Institute of Science and Technology main campus. James Kariuki, you've been my follower for quite a long time now. I thank God for you. Those people, if you think I'm becoming, if I'm of any help to you, if I've made any sense to you, thank you very much, Mr. Moses Kimama. I've given you my number. You can call me. Personally, at 21, I was married, and I have no regrets. Plan early enough. Plan for your retirement. Plan for your children's education. Because if you don't plan, choices have consequences. So I call upon all of you to call me on that number that I've given you, 0722 633 021. You can either drop a WhatsApp text, can even drop DM me, and do what you call DM. Direct message me. I'll still receive, and together we can go places. With those many remarks, having worked the whole day, I want to wish you a very good night. May God bless you. Thank you so much, people in diaspora. I'm overwhelmed by your remarks. Thank you so much for the comments I've gotten from people from UK, from people from Jordan, people from Australia, people from South Africa, people from Botswana, people from New Zealand and Netherlands. I have no words. Thank you so much. You motivate me. Those who continually make comments, I thank God for you because you motivate me. You motivate me to continually give you information. Thank you very much, Rebecca Waidera, all the way from Qatar. I know you have been an ardent listener to me as well. May God bless you. And I told you, Rebecca Waidera, that you need to call me. You need to text me. We talk about what. I have no problem with your family members, as a matter of fact. I also have a family. I also belong somewhere. But do not, let me tell you, your brother, your sister may not be a professionally trained financial consultant. I do not want to come here for a big shocker when you have sent your money like a guy. Sorry to say this. I'm not actually trying to intimidate you. Thank you very much, Mr. Benjamin Kamau, all the way from Cape Town in South Africa. Thank you, Benjamin Kamau. I was sleeping in a waterfront, City Lodge, overlooking Cape Town International Convention. I know that place. I went to Cape of Good Hope. I went to Robben Islands. I understand that particular place. So while Rebecca Waidera, please, you need to talk to me. Benjamin Kamau, talk to me. Cape Town is a good place, only that now South Africa is changing a little bit, but we hope that you are safe wherever you are, Benjamin Kamau. Thank you for joining me from that far. Thank you, Sarah J. I can see you're saying that the discussion has been good. And I hope if I have helped you in any way whatsoever, please comment. Please feel free to comment. So let me repeat my number because of Rebecca Waidera. Please make sure that you talk to me. Call me on 0722. I'm now giving you, not through my PA now. I'm giving you my number. Thank you so much, Benjamin Kamau. I love Cape Town. That I can tell you for sure. I love Cape Town. More so when I use what we call, I go to the Table Mountains using the cables. It's a nice place to be. So Qatar, Rebecca from Qatar, I was sleeping in Grad Hotel. It's called Grad Hotel in Qatar. A very nice place to be also. And I thank God because I know those places. So you can just get me on 0722 633-021. You can either text, you can either call during working hours, and of course, you know, you have got different time zones. You can even maybe drop me a message, or you can even write me an email, paulkebicho@gmail.com. Let's keep engaging ourselves. Let's keep engaging. So, Rebecca, you have my number now, 0722 633-021. I'll respond to you. For those people who have continually encouraged me from wherever you are in the world, I thank God for you. In case you feel that we need to discuss something, feel free to drop a text, and I'll be able to answer that one to you. So I want us to pray now so that we can actually have a good night. And for those people who are going to work, I do not know what Rebecca Waidera does in Qatar. I don't know where Sarah Jerry is. Of course, I know where Benjamin Kamau is. We have a difference of about 1 hour with South Africans. And I hope that you're not, Benjamin Kamau, you'll be able to prevail upon Cyril Ramaphosa not to jail this old man. Fine, the mistake happened, but I saw that his health is taking a toll on him. So let's pray. Our dear loving Father, in Jesus' name, I once again come before thee with my heart, Jehovah God, full of thanksgiving. Thank you, God, for making us remnants. Thank you, Jehovah God, for your servants who've been listening to me all along since I started this particular channel. Thank you for those who have given testimonies, Jehovah God, that these videos, Jehovah God, have been life-changing in their lives, Jehovah. I thank you because it has become a game changer to a number of your people. I commit these people before you. Make them remnants, Jehovah God. Cover them with your precious blood. May you make their plans come to pass. I pray that you may meet with them at their various points of their needs. Those with families, Jehovah God, I pray for your provision, Jehovah God, and providence. Jehovah God, those desiring to get families, bless them. To those in colleges, Jehovah God, those who are still pursuing the education, like I have seen my brother at Rift Valley Science, Institute of Science and Technology, I commit him, Jehovah God, before you. Provide unto him and his family members, Jehovah God. We remember the sick in hospitals at homes, how we pray that, Jehovah God, your mighty hand will work upon them, Jehovah God, for them to recover. You know, doctors treat, but you do heal. Remember our parents, Jehovah God, we remember them in a special way. Your precious blood, Jehovah God. We remember even the old parents, Jehovah God. We remember even those orphans, Jehovah God. We remember the widows and the widowers, Jehovah God. May you, Jehovah God, meet with them at the various points of their needs. We want to remember this nation called Kenya, Jehovah God. This is the political time. The political temperatures are rising by day, Jehovah God. I pray that there will be no bloodshed in this Republic of Kenya, Jehovah God. We pray that you will take control, Jehovah God, of this electioneering period. That all of us, Jehovah God, will see the elections unscathed. We commit every plan unto you, Jehovah. You remember even all the leaders globally. Remember them, Jehovah God, and let them know that they will stand before you and give an account of what they have done to your people. We remember, Jehovah God, those people who are actually being martyred because of belonging to Christianity. We commit them before you, Jehovah God. We remember those who never understand. Jehovah God, have mercy on them, Jehovah God, and protect them too. We want to remember all the clergy, wherever they are, that Jehovah God, you may provide unto their needs, that they may become good ambassadors of you. We surrender ourselves unto you because we know there is no